Okay, let's just dive right in. We have been handed this stack of sources detailing one single football game. It's the Kansas City Chiefs season finale, January 2026, against the Raiders at Allegiant Stadium. And on paper, if you just glance at the standings, this game is, well, it's absolutely meaningless.
Completely meaningless.
The Chiefs are wrapping up what the sources call a forgettable 6-10 season.
Right. They missed the playoffs for the first time since 2014. And the Raiders are even worse.
Exactly. But when you look at these broadcast sources, this game is being described as maybe the most emotionally charged, legacy-defining game the kingdom has faced in a decade.
And what's so fascinating is how the sources just immediately strip away that win-loss record. The stakes get elevated entirely. And it isn't about standings, it's about pride, sure, but overwhelmingly it's about transition. It's about closure. The atmosphere is described as being thick with legacy, tears, and that unbreakable Chiefs spirit.
And that tension is coming from two huge pieces of news.
Seismic pieces of news.
One is Patrick Mahomes' very unexpected personal decision, and the other is the very real, very emotional possibility that we are watching Travis Kelce's last game.
Ever. In red and gold.
So for this deep dive, our mission is to unpack that. How does the finale of a season everyone just wants to forget become this massive historical marker for the entire franchise? And it all starts with the shocker that just overshadowed everything else.
The pregame hype didn't matter.
Nope. Patrick Mahomes, the 3-time Super Bowl MVP, the fearless leader of this team, he's simply not there. He didn't even travel.
And his physical absence is it's profound. The sources stress this wasn't some casual skip. If we zoom out a bit, he's recovering from what they call a devastating ACL and LCL tear.
The one he suffered back in Week 15 against the Chargers.
Exactly, and in a really cruel twist, that injury was pretty much the final nail in the coffin for their season.
So for an injury that severe, I mean, we're talking about major structural damage to the knee.
Oh, it requires an intensely focused, very long recovery. His focus has to be absolute. The sources say he is attacking rehab like he attacks a blitz. His whole world right now is just narrowed down to one thing: being ready for Week 1 in 2026.
But wait a minute, doesn't Mahomes staying home, even with the injury justification, doesn't that inadvertently shift the entire emotional weight onto Kelce? And maybe, I don't know, minimize the team's collective pride? Is that a subtle failure of leadership, even if it's not intentional?
Well, that is the central question this whole scenario raises, isn't it? The decision was, as they say, deeply personal. He was prioritizing his recovery, yes, but also his family. He spent a quiet day in Kansas City with his wife Brittany and their 3 kids, Sterling Sky, Bronze, and little Golden Ray.
And Brittany shared that Instagram story just hours before kickoff.
Right, which basically reinforces that powerful, very modern narrative we're seeing. Even in the NFL spotlight, family comes first.
And while that's totally understandable, it does create a void, a leadership void.
It does. And the analysis suggests the team isn't just playing for pride anymore. They're playing for Mahomes, to show him they still have that fight. And absolutely, they're playing for the man who might be hanging up his cleats. It forces the other leaders, guys like Chris Jones and Kelce himself, to channel all that collective energy.
And that void you mentioned brings us right to the biggest, most resonant question hanging over Allegiant Stadium. Is this it? Is this the end for Travis Kelce?
The greatest tight end in franchise history.
The sources are really, they are leaning into the gravity of this moment for the man who redefined the tight end position. He's 36 now.
Finishing his 13th season, which is incredible in itself.
And the retirement rumors, which felt a little premature a year ago, they're now at a fever pitch. They've been building ever since that Super Bowl loss to the Eagles.
And if you just look at the pure football legacy, Kelce isn't just some great player. He is the heartbeat of this offense for the last decade. He was instrumental in delivering 3 Super Bowls, 5 total appearances with Mahomes.
And the stats.
The statistical profile is just staggering. We are talking about him shattering records like most Super Bowl catches with 35 and piling up over 11,000 career yards.
11,000?
Just let that sink in for a moment. To reach 11,000 yards as a tight end, a position that's often, prioritized for blocking, it just shows this unprecedented longevity and receiving skill. That kind of sustained dominance puts him in a truly elite historically significant category.
And this is where the analysis gets really fascinating, because it connects Kelce's current moment all the way back through the Chiefs' entire history. It's positioning him in the franchise pantheon, right alongside these iconic figures.
Absolutely. And when the sources make that comparison, they are setting the highest possible historical bar. They mention Lynn Dawson, who was the cornerstone of that first Super Bowl dynasty in the late 60s.
Quarterbacked them to victory in Super Bowl IV.
Exactly. And then you have a guy like Derek Thomas, that transcended disruptive linebacker.
The 7-sack game in '90.
A singular, terrifying genius on defense. And that's the kind of impact Kelce had on the other side of the ball. He didn't just stand on their shoulders, he redefined his whole era.
So how does he stack up against the tight ends who came before him? I'm thinking specifically of Tony Gonzalez, who was a legend himself in KC.
Gonzalez redefined the athletic potential of the position, for sure. He took it from being this glorified blocker to a legitimate receiving threat. But the sources are emphatic on this point. Kelce smashed Gonzalez's tight end records. He paired that size and athleticism with the speed that linebackers couldn't cover and a route-running precision that just defied defensive backs.
And then you combine that versatility with Mahomes' improvisational genius since 2018.
It was pure fireworks. It led to a historic run, including those incredible 50 TD seasons for the whole offense during their prime. He forced defenses to completely change their coverage schemes just to account for one guy. That is legacy-defining impact.
And even with this tough 6-10 season, Coach Andy Reid confirmed Kelce will play. And that confirmation alone, that's a massive gift to the fans. It's one last chance to watch number 87 work his magic, even if the season's a wash.
It's a very deliberate organizational decision, a choice to honor the legend, even in a losing season. They were never going to sit him, so now we have to pivot a little from the emotional side to the immediate reality of the game itself, because they still have to execute without their main engine.
Right, and the reality is tough. Chiefs are 6-10, facing a truly struggling Raiders squad at 2-14, riding a 10-game skid. This game is all about pride, but who is running the show without that irreplaceable Mahomes magic?
But without Mahomes, the offense falls to the backup, Chris Alkanen. And the source analysis gives Alkanen credit for showing grit, but not that patented Mahomes magic.
So his limitations are pretty clear.
Very clear. Shorter throws, less risk downfield, a reliance on timing, not improvisation.
So what does the tactical plan from Andy Reid even look like? It has to be driven by the emotion of the situation, right?
100%. Reid is going to scheme ways to get Kelce involved early. That means quick slants, short crosses over the middle, and you can bet on some red zone targets. The entire goal of those first few drives is to honor the legend and just generate momentum any way they can, through sheer willpower and targeting their Hall of Famer.
So Alakanen's job isn't to be Mahomes. His job is to facilitate the Kelce moment and, not make catastrophic mistakes.
Pretty much.
So what does the defense have to do to compensate for a severely limited offense?
Defensively, the plan has to be aggressive containment, create momentum. Chris Jones and that D-line, they have to be the engines, both emotionally and tactically. They'll be focused on hunting Geno Smith, forcing turnovers. They know the offense will struggle to sustain long drives without Mahomes, so the defense has to provide short fields and quick momentum swings to keep the score manageable.
And you can't forget the context.
You can't. As the sources say, divisional rivalries, they never sleep. This Raiders hatred is decades old, back to the AFL days.
And then there's the fresh sting of the Chargers, knocking them out of playoff contention this year.
So every single snap is fueled by that frustration, that historical bad blood, and just the raw need to prove they aren't finished.
I mean, I want you, the listener, to consider this. What kind of immense pressure is on the remaining players? The guys who have to suit up and deliver a win purely on emotion after the, frankly, humiliation of a 6-10 season.
Are they playing for Kelce or for their own redemption?
Exactly.
They're playing for the locker room's integrity. But ultimately, they are playing for what's next. And the sources capture this so well, channeling the voices from the kingdom. You can almost hear Andy Reid in that locker room, giving a very focused, emotional charge. Win or lose today, we're playing for him, for pride, for what's next.
Wow.
That statement just covers it all. Honoring the past Kelce's potential exit and steeling themselves for the future, for the rebuild. They have to deliver one final, unified statement of defiance.
And through all of this, we still don't actually know Kelce's decision. We just have his statement from after Christmas.
Right? He was very non-committal. He just said, I'll decide with family and the organization when the time's right. And that statement just keeps the tension sky high. It forces everyone to watch right up to the final whistle, just hoping for some kind of signal.
And then you have the fan perspective, which is so important.
Essential. The fictional but totally representative fan, Mike from KC, who says what everyone feels. Fav's given us everything. 3 rings that smile. If this is it, thank you, legend.
That emotional currency, that's what's driving this whole thing.
It's priceless.
Okay, let's shift gears now to the outside pressures, because there's this whole pop culture machine that has fundamentally changed the calculation for Kelce. The sources really dig into the media narrative, what they call the Swift glow.
And this is where the NFL stops being just a sport and becomes this global cultural phenomenon. Channeling the analyst take, Kelce is a Hall of Fame walk. That's not even a debate. He could quit tomorrow.
But retiring now is being called smart.
It's being called smart because of his exploding off-field ventures. His podcast is dominating. He's getting acting gigs. And the Taylor Swift era is boosting not just the NFL's visibility, but his individual profile to new heights.
So his legacy is secure, but his earning potential off the field
Has never been higher. It arguably makes the physical toll and frankly the lower salary of playing another year much less appealing. He doesn't need football anymore to define his success or his wealth.
And this external narrative, this cultural context, it's so crucial to understanding the Chiefs' franchise identity itself. This is a team defined by loyalty, by deep roots.
Exactly. You have to remember their history. They were born as the Dallas Texans in 1960, moved to Kansas City in 63. They share that deep Missouri identity with the Royals. They're woven into the fabric of the city.
And of course, Arrowhead Stadium.
The loudest stadium in the world,
Oh.
142.2 decibels. That fierce, loyal identity just magnifies this moment. So even though the team is struggling, even though they're on the road to Vegas, the sources say Chiefs fans will pack Allegiant Shopping in red.
So Kelce's potential farewell is happening on a stage built by decades of this intense generational loyalty.
Which means every move he makes, every catch, every sideline exchange, every potential tear, it's all amplified globally through this lens of celebrity and legacy.
It's not just an NFL moment anymore. It's a worldwide spectacle of a celebrity athlete facing the end of his professional mortality.
And it creates enormous pressure for a perfect narrative arc.
Yeah.
So what is all this high drama, this strategic emotional planning? What does it all lead to on the scoreboard? The sources offered a very specific prediction.
They did, and the prediction is the ultimate feel-good ending, isn't it? The Chiefs snap the skid, they win 27-17 with Kelce hauling in a TD for the send-off. It's the perfect tear-jerker finale for a tough season that really didn't have any moments of joy.
But whether that happens or not, the huge implications moving forward are all about the consequences of that 6-10 season. Because they were so bad, the Chiefs secured a top draft pick.
Which is huge.
And the analysis strongly suggests this pick will likely be used for O-line help protecting Mahomes' return.
After that ACL-LCL tear, that's not just smart, it's vital.
It's absolutely vital for the dynasty's continuation. So the team faces this key decision point. If Kelce retires, it accelerates a full team reload, it opens up significant cap space. If he stays for one more chase, it complicates the finances, but it keeps the emotional heart of the team intact for one more year.
And the pop culture angle, that just keeps dominating his future no matter what.
Absolutely. The projection is just continued pop culture dominance. His podcast is already dominating. His hosting and acting gigs are securing his post-football career. His career as a football player may end today, but his career as a global brand is arguably just reaching its peak.
So to sum up our deep dive, we analyzed the emotional stakes, the strategic decisions driven purely by pride, and the colossal legacy of 2 franchise pillars converging on one seemingly meaningless season finale.
This was a deep dive not just into football, but into the modern nature of celebrity, commitment, and closure in elite sports.
Which raises an important and I think provocative final question for you, the listener, to really consider. Given that the Chiefs got a top draft pick because of their disastrous 6-10 record, and with Mahomes sidelined for a vital rehab period, was this season's disappointment, this entire painful campaign, was it actually a necessary sacrifice for the future success of the franchise?
And if Kelce does get that predicted send-off touchdown, does the perfection of that closing narrative overshadow the harsh reality of the losing season? And is that emotional narrative ultimately what truly matters most in modern sports? Keep observing how that balance between on-field performance, personal life, and that relentless pop culture machine, how it dictates the final act of a legendary career.